Well, today's deadline day for Prince Harry and the details of his visa application being made public. The immigration forms that he filled in when he moved to the United States in 2020 with his wife Meghan, having stepped down as a working royal and left Britain. Now, a right-wing think tank in the United States, the Heritage Foundation, has been campaigning for this transparency for more than a year now. They put in a Freedom of Information request asking for the Department of Homeland Security in the US to release the details of how Prince Harry got into the United States and whether he was really honest on that application form. Of course, we all know that in Harry's book Spare, he wrote about his drug use, having taken cocaine, cannabis, having taken psychedelics at Courtney Cox's house, for example. There were some very colourful descriptions of his drug use, which is all good when it comes to selling books, but has got him into a bit of a sticky situation legally. And now the Heritage Foundation picked up on that and said, Prince Harry's been open about his drug use, but was he open when he filled in that immigration form? Did he lie on it? Or did he tell the truth? And in that case, did the Biden administration turn a blind eye to it because of who he was? Was Harry given preferential treatment because he was a prince of the United Kingdom? And so they've been campaigning for a really long time on that. They were told in September last year that there was no public interest in Prince Harry's visa records being released and that Harry, as anyone, had a right to privacy when it came to his immigration status. But they appealed against that in February of this year, and Judge Carl Nichols has ruled that those details should be released, and they're due to be released today. The real question is, are the Heritage Foundation going to get the answers that they've been fighting for today? And I think that's probably not going to happen because we know there are going to be redactions. These visa details are going to be released, but as long as they don't breach Harry's privacy. So all the really interesting parts are going to be redacted from this. What will be interesting is the kind of visa that Harry entered the United States on. Was it the sort of visa that you or I would apply for? Or has he gone right at the top level with this A1 head of state visa, the diplomatic plus visa that senior members of the royal family are entitled to? And if he has that immigration status, then the questions that would have been asked would have been different. The levels of security and scrutiny would have been lower for him. And so the Heritage Foundation's case effectively goes away. It is really, really interesting to us, isn't it? But the argument that was always made by the Department of Homeland Security was that it's not in the public interest. Well, Donald Trump's had quite a bit to say on this over the past year or so. He did an interview with Nigel Farage last year where he said, look, if Harry thinks I'm going to protect him, he's got another thing coming. Why should I protect him when this is a guy that betrayed his family, betrayed his grandmother? He slightly shifted in tone, as Donald Trump has a tendency to do. And more recently, he said, look, I'm not going to go after Harry on this. He's got enough problems of his own with that wife of his, and said she's terrible. No love lost, as we all know, between Donald Trump and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. She's previously described him as being divisive and misogynistic. We know that their politics is certainly a long way from Donald Trump, and he likewise has made it clear what he thinks about her. But in terms of what he's going to do about this, whether, if it turns out that Prince Harry lied on his immigration records, the Heritage Foundation's lawyers have argued that people have been deported for falsifying their immigration records. And therefore, technically, Prince Harry could be kicked out of the United States if it turns out that he has told a lie on that paperwork. But in reality, I think Donald Trump has far bigger fish to fry than worrying about Prince Harry and his admission of drug use. And also, whatever he thinks about what Harry and Meghan have done, Donald Trump is a huge admirer of the British royal family. And to be seen to be kicking out the son of the king would not go down well. The royal family can't be seen to be getting involved in this because this is the US judicial system. And no matter which country it is, they have to let justice serve its course. They cannot be seen to intervene. And it's a tough question, isn't it? Because relations between Harry and the royal family and the institution of the monarchy are pretty strained right now. I don't think the king would want to see his son being kicked out. They have made a life for themselves in California. And I think, to the idea of Prince Harry being kicked out, I mean, where would they go? Because Meghan's made it very clear she doesn't want to step foot back on UK soil. Harry's got this ongoing case with the Home Office here in Britain about his security and has said that he doesn't think it's safe to bring his family back to the United Kingdom. I think it would be very challenging indeed. They have been looking at property in Portugal, of course, but I just don't think this is going to come to that. I think we have to wait and see what we learn today. But in reality, will it make a difference to Harry? I don't think it will.